A wealthy merchant once traveled across the desert carrying bags of gold, silver, and precious jewels. Servants walked beside him. Guards protected him. People bowed whenever he entered a town. And the merchant loved it. He measured his worth by what he owned. "If I have wealth," he often said, "I have power. If I have power, I need nothing else." One evening during his journey, a violent sandstorm suddenly swept across the desert. The wind roared like a beast. Camels panicked. Men shouted in fear. The storm became so fierce that the merchant was separated from his caravan. Alone, lost. The desert swallowed everything. By morning, the storm had passed. The merchant staggered across the burning sand, exhausted and thirsty. His lips cracked, his legs trembled. Then suddenly, he saw something glittering in the sand. With shaking hands, he dug desperately. Jewels, rubies, diamonds, gold coins, a fortune. Normally, his heart would have raced with joy, but now he stared at the treasure in horror, because beside all that wealth, there was no water. And for the first time in his life, he understood something terrifying. A man can possess everything and still be dying inside. Hours later, the merchant collapsed beneath the scorching sun. As darkness crept into his vision, he saw an old desert monk approaching slowly with a small flask of water. The monk knelt beside him and lifted the flask to his lips. The merchant drank desperately. Water had never tasted so beautiful. After a long silence, the monk glanced at the pile of jewels beside him. "You carried the wrong treasure," he said quietly. The merchant looked at the diamonds sparkling in the sand. Things he once would have killed for now looked worthless. The monk continued, "The soul is like the body. It can become rich in many things, success, pleasure, possessions, and still die of thirst." The merchant listened weakly. Then the monk asked, "What good is gold to a man without water?" The merchant never forgot those words. When he finally returned home, people noticed something had changed. He no longer boasted about his riches. He no longer chased admiration. Instead, he spent long hours helping the poor, feeding strangers, and praying quietly in the temple. One day, a friend asked him, "What happened to you in the desert?" The merchant became silent for a moment. Then he answered softly, "I almost died surrounded by treasure and discovered that only God could satisfy my soul." Many people spend their whole lives collecting things they cannot keep: money, status, attention, power. But Jesus once asked a question that still echoes through history. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Because, in the end, every earthly treasure eventually turns to dust, but the soul lasts forever.